Three, two, one. We're live! Welcome to Cardano 720 with Nani and me with my full name as opposed to anything else today. I'm Alex from NASEC, if you don't know. And yeah, today we'll be reviewing the goings-on of Cardano 360 and talking about our bugbears, our likes, our dislikes, and everything about Cardano. What did you think was going on this month lead time? Anything exciting? Anything jump right out at you in 360?
It's definitely not boring this month, but I mean, less than 360. I think there's so many spicy things happening all around it.
Very true.
The network puberty and Dex drama.
So come on then.
Yeah.
What do you think? Sunday swaps launched. How do you think it went? Is it a shit show or did it go well? What do you think?
I mean, the congestion issues were there before they launched. It's like, oh, the blockchain's at like 92%. Sunday launches and then it's at 95. So
yeah,
it's like, okay, it's fine.
Well, we spoke about this last month, didn't we? We were saying, you know, is it going to be bad? Yeah, we think it's going to be bad. It's bad a whole lot sooner than I expected. Oh well.
Well, it's so some silver linings I hadn't expected that I've gotten from the network congestion here is that the different wallets and the different platforms, you're really separating the wheat from the chaff here, because well, you know me, I fuck with degenerate pictures and NFTs and all of those kind of things. So trading that back and forth, you know, no congestion is going to stop me. But some of the markets, some of the portals are just silently failing when they're trying to buy or sell after like a long period of time, where others of them, they will hanging for longer and they got activity logs showing you like what's up and what's down. And so before, like a month ago and before that, I was definitely a bit more, polyamorous with all the different platforms for marketplaces. But today I am a lot more of a monogamist.
We all want to know who. Come on, there's no. This is us talking shit. You don't get to just say, "Oh no, I have my favorites." No, name and shame. Who's really shit? Who's the worst? No one cares about who's good. Who's the worst, and why are they so shit?
I don't want to throw them hard under the brush, but Carter Hub, which is a new marketplace launched about a month ago, you guys, you came out a little too soon. You should have really polished off the edges before, because you already have first mover advantage markets, CNFT.io, which would be number 2 on my shit list. But if you want to come late to the party, then you have to compete. You can't show up late and then have something that is subpar or missing some things. Then it's better that you just stay in the locker room for a bit longer and come out later and wow everybody. JPEG store has been a really positive experience for just NFT marketplace. That's normal, like Nami or CC Vault integrations. Token has been a weird positive experience. So I say weird in the sense that nobody uses it, or it's used for some sub markets because they have some really great usages. Like I really love that you can bulk together NFTs.
Okay.
Both with some NFTs, it makes a lot of sense. Like if you're selling digital real estate, for instance, and you want to sell like a larger plot of land, which is several pieces of it, then you want to bulk that together and sell it like it's one thing. That's convenient. But I've also seen people do like garage sales of NFTs, and they're like, hey, that's fun. Give me 500 ADA, here's like 80 different NFTs. And then you can rifle through that and see like, oh, that's exciting. Is that worth it or not?
Feels like a lucky dip. Is it ever worth it? Oh, it's digital images. Yeah, they're JPEGs. They're worth it, man. They're worth it.
Yeah. But token, I haven't used it a lot, like I said, because, well, there's not really typically anybody on the other end for me to use it.
Ouch.
But for when I have been, and also when I've been pulling some things off of it, it's been lightning fucking fast. So it's kind of piqued my interest a little bit again, thinking like, wait, how the hell are they actually doing this? Because the few actions that I were taking did not seem like they were affected by a 98% network congestion at all.
So they've really got the tech down then.
It looks like it. So
I'm not popular, but got the tech. Oh dear.
Yeah, like I would. It was literally right when I was thinking, yeah, okay, I'm gonna abandon this because I'm never gonna use that. And then I abandoned it so fucking quickly that it made me do a double take and go, wait, maybe I shouldn't. And so now I need to actually read in to figure out.
Well, this is good. This is the kind of marketing that, you know, maybe their tech stack is actually the best out there, but who's to know? You know,
that's what I'm thinking right now. It seems like they got the tech down and their marketing is just fucking horrible.
Unfortunately, as SPOs, I'm sure we can relate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, that's good to hear. I really like knowing who's on it for the marketing and who's succeeding technically. It's good to hear.
So what do you think? What's been piquing your interest here? A lot of things happening in January.
So much has been happening. What with Sunday Swap launching, which was the big thing, really. Something that piqued my interest very momentarily was the notion that my colleague, the second operator of NASEC stake pool, Nikos, he's doing some liquidity provisioning. As in providing liquidity on Sunday Swap, Liquid and ADA he's providing. And he was doing the maths with a bunch of the other Greeks from the Greek community run by Sapio Pool. And oh my God, the maths that they came out with, Nikos was working out he was making something like 300 ADA, 300 Sunday a day.
What's a Sunday going for?
A Sunday's like zero. Well, at the time it was like 1 ADA. Now it's 0.76 ADA. So
still, wow.
Yeah, I was all. Wait, what? People are just getting rich off of this? How's that gonna work? I'm assuming, not financial advice, but I'm assuming that the price of Sunday is going down because he's not delegating enough or providing enough liquidity. I mean, that kind of rate of return was just, it blew my mind. I was very confused. So,
but it's a shovel, isn't it? When there's gold in the hills,
yeah,
the price of the shovels, the mania starts like ramping that up. So
that's it. And I think
it's gonna come down.
Yeah, I think that's it. So that really interested me because I've not looked into liquidity providing and automated market makers until Sunday Swap launched, at which point it gave me something new to learn. So that was interesting. Something else that interested me, I think there's a website out there called Cardano Stats, or it just provides the stats on Cardano. The most interacted with smart contract to date this epoch is still Muesli Swap, not Sunday Swap. That fascinated me. You think?
Yeah, not too surprised.
Oh.
They've been around for a few months now.
Yeah, I know, but the congestion and the Sunday Swap marketing.
The congestion were there before Sunday. Like I said earlier.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Before Sunday Swap went live, the network was still over 90% congested.
Yeah, true. I guess that the whole notion of Sunday Swap's what tipped, the straw that broke the camel's back. I guess that's why I look at it and blame it. But yeah, no,
that
Muesli Swap is still the most utilized.
But so here, this is a
Smart
good
contract.
segue into something that I heard. I think it was Cardano Whale. I read speculate openly about this. This was just him thinking out loud in on the Twitter soapbox, that the Muesli Swap DEX may actually be much better architecturally for a blockchain running with UTXO modeling.
Okay.
Because the Muesli Swap, so it's those that aren't aware, the Muesli Swap isn't an AMM DEX where like everybody pulls their shit together and then anybody can come in and buy as little or as much as they want of that whole thing. Muesli Swap is an order book. It's like aggregated eBay listings of, I want to buy 10,000 of that for this price. And then somebody has to come willing to sell exactly 10,000 of that.
Which is the same way that centralized exchanges typically work, or at least it's the same way that Kraken works, for example. Just my exchange of choice, I think.
Sort of, but not really, because here everything is smart contracts, right? The Kraken,
sure.
Everything is running on their proverbial spreadsheet of what they're seeing. And it's also a bit more polished on those services, which is not on Muesli anymore, which allows for you to specify a spread, or which is that I'm willing to let the price slide for a certain amount of percent in order to get my order filled. Because if you want to buy a lot of something, then there probably isn't that many for sale at that particular price. It doesn't work like that on Muesli right now. So you literally have to go in and fill every single order that you want to buy or that you want to sell. The typical way people are used to seeing DEXs work in DeFi is I think is AMM. It's like the pool way.
I've heard the Sunday swap solution.
Yeah, so it's the like prom night punch where I just pull all my my shit tokens in the basket, and I pull all my
ADA
chip crypto ADA in a basket, and then proportionate to how much of my shit token is in the full shit pool, I will be earning some yield on providing that liquidity, and vice versa for the ADA. And then that allows for the economy at scale when somebody wants to come in and make a trade of things. But because of Cardano is using the extended UTXO, Whale raised this thoughtful idea, which really caught me as well, which was that maybe the AMM way of building a DEX is swimming upstream on Cardano.
Right.
Maybe Muesli Swap is actually going in the right direction. And what you want to do is you just want to improve on that. You want to add the features that let you do spread and multi-order books, which is not technically very complicated. Where if you have to pool everything together, because we are on extended UTXO, that is going to complicate things like a lot, which is also what I've been hearing. I haven't touched Sunday yet, but I hear that it takes a fucking like epoch, pun intended, to get your swaps pulled through.
Yeah, I've certainly been hearing some agony from some people who are trying to use Sunday Swap at the moment. Lots of people in the NASEC Discord are saying, like, I tried 50 times, couldn't get one through, gave up. So, yeah, it sounds
it kind of makes
agony.
sense, because the idea of the AMM DEX, of everybody spitting in the hat and then pulling all that together, is to make the liquidity of the asset fungible, right? But when the underlying model is UTXO, you can't. So you can make the abstraction and make it pretend that, oh, it's fungible because we pull it all together. But when you want to pull anything out, you still have to identify every single nickel, dime, and cent by name that you want to be pulling out for making those payments. So yeah, I haven't spent more time like reading into it, but I hadn't thought about that. And so I saw that gigantic aquatic animal tweet about it, and that really piqued my interest. And yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I started to think like, yeah, no, it makes zero fucking sense to make AMM dexes on Cardano. It just adds extra time, transaction costs, issues. You do get something out of it. You get a little bit more flexibility that is harder to be getting out of something like an order book, even if you can polish it and make it a much better user experience than what Muesli have right now. But you're not going to have a super fine level of granularity of what kind of trades you want to be making. You will be very much limited by the specific orders that are put in the book.
Yeah, makes sense to me. I mean, I think the reason that people got super excited for Sunday Swap is that everyone wants to be the new Uniswap. Everyone wants to be the biggest DEX in the world, and they don't really necessarily, that people haven't sat down. People started programming and didn't really think necessarily too much about the platform. They thought, how can I build this? Now, Sunday Swap took the approach of, let's build it the way that people are familiar with. Whether or not that's right for the architecture behind it, maybe you're right. Maybe Whale's right. Maybe it's not. Whereas I think Muesli were just like, hey, we can make it work if we do this. We can do an order book model and it's going to freaking work because we understand how to do that. That's pretty simple, at least conceptually in comparison. That there's a lot less to it than the mathematics required behind an automated market maker. So yeah, I you know what? I could totally see Muesli Swap being the way forwards, and I certainly prefer it in terms of just like I can see how much I can buy. I'm used to centralized exchanges. Works for me. I guess everyone who's previously used Ethereum is going to feel the opposite and be like, well, I'm used to Uniswap. I want that automated market maker to sort me out, sort of thing.
I want to pay that $900 in gas fee.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't spent 10 grand in gas fees this month yet. What a shame. So, fantastic.
I think they'll both stick around though. They're offering different products, right?
Yeah, totally different.
The AMM DEX is a much higher fidelity, lower granularity. So super roughly put, I would say the DEX like Sunday is probably going to be cheaper to use. I say probably because I don't know what outrageous fees they're charging, but
I want to say it's 0.3%, but I could be wrong.
All right. But at least it could be cheaper for you to be making very specific transactions because it gives that final level, high fidelity. But it's going to be slower. Absolutely going to be slower, where the Muesli Swap approach is going to be much faster, and it's still going to be cheap, but it's only going to be the maximum cheap when it's matching the order books exactly of what are you looking for and what is available.
Yeah.
Which means that for very popular assets, it's going to be no problem. For not so popular assets, it might be rough.
Yeah. You just push the price up astronomically instantly.
Yeah. But if I'm right about that, then that might create some interesting dynamic where all of the hip, cool before anybody else knew about it, shitcoin things start out on a place like Sunday, and then when they become popular, then that means that there is enough orders for it to be easier to be trading on a place like Muesli, and so the trading volume disappears from the Sunday DEX and goes over in the Muesli bowl.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I mean, we've danced around it. You just mentioned it. Scaling. Have you heard about pipelining? Can I interest you in some pipelining?
I thought you were saying Pied Piper.
Piper. Not quite. Pipelining. It's Cardano's new Hydra, because we've abandoned hope that Hydra is going to fix this, apparently.
No.
There was a terrifying thread on Reddit the other day that basically said Hydra is not meant to fix the problem that SundaySwap has caused. Okay, that's quite unnerving. What Hydra is supposed to do is some other level of scaling. So I haven't read fully into it, but Hydra is not our one true savior these days. Pipelining is the new savior. So what pipelining is going to do is apparently give us an order of magnitude better throughput in terms of transactions on chain. So when we combine that with parameter tweaks and things, we're hoping to get much more throughput on layer 1. So order of magnitude, we go from 8 SundaySwap transactions on chain plus some other small transactions to 80. And the notion is...
How is it supposed to work?
Yeah, no one knows. It's pipelining, man. It's pipelining.
I have some ideas based on the names there and like what's expected, but
no, pass. There is an IOG blog post out there. Go onto IOG's website, check out their latest blog post. It's pretty recent. But pipelining is our savior. It is supposed to be due Q2 of this year. So there's a few things to discuss there. One, looks like we're going to be experiencing 100% utilization and worse when other smart contracts launch till June. And two, yay, there might be a savior, maybe, hopefully. I guess we don't know, because we don't know how much demand there is for the Cardano blockchain. In theory, surely we want a lot more than just 1 dApp's worth or 2 dApp's worth with Sunday and Muesli. So do we start worrying? I'm at a loss. We've just increased block size again. No, sorry, Pluto's script size again has been increased. That happened on Tuesday of this week.
Yeah.
But apparently it's not going to be Hydra. We're looking to scaling with pipelining now. What do you think? 6 months from now? Are we going to last?
Yeah, well, the question is, in what state are we going to last? I'm sure we're going to last. I think that we're inbound for a hurricane of a political storm in the network, more than we already are dealing with at the moment. I'm sure some people are already pointing out the spicy take, which is that, well, if we were to do transaction fees on Bit, this wouldn't be a problem.
Yep. And this has been mentioned, just to be clear, that there may be tiers of transactions on the Cardano blockchain in the future. Instant, high priority, and low priority transactions. That has been floated as an idea by IOG.
That could work. It doesn't scale long term, but that's not what it would need to do either. It would just need to buy time for Hydra or Pipeline or whatever is like the big picture solution. Yeah, that could work. I have only peripherally, but I have seen that Milkom Media by DC Spark are moving the needle on some of the things they're working on. One of the things of that is effectively a parallel off-chain solution. That's pretty much all that I know. But from what I've seen, it looks like the innards are definitely moving around on it. I would expect for them to be showing up to class with something functional a lot earlier than 6 months from now. So I'm mostly speculating right now, but I think that we are going to see community developed solutions pop up before then, and not the altruistic or good Samaritan solutions, more of a, hey, if this shit doesn't work here, I'm gonna make my own casino with blackjack and hookers where everything can be solved that can be resolved into the blockchain. So that, which is, well, that's kind of the whole ethos of what Hydra is supposed to be doing, as I understand it anyway. Yeah, we're gonna.
You mention a good point.
I have to wait and see.
Community development versus IOG, Emergo, Cardano Foundation. This is a really good point. So DC Spark, what they mentioned was their Vice was the name of their wallet. The first thing that DC Spark will be putting out. Flint. There we go. You know, make up words. Flint. So the Flint wallet will be the first product that they're making, which kind of leads me on to...
They have a collaboration with Tinder, I hear.
Oh, nice. We'd actually be the biggest blockchain if that happened. But
I'm just joking.
Flint. So kind of leads me into Emergo were on the Cardano 360 call talking about how they're going to try and make Yoroi better and they're going to try and scale. Don't know why it takes them so long to scale servers to deal with demand. Just fire up a new AWS image and get it, or server and get it over with. But yeah, not only that, Yoroi and Daedalus, they've been left for dead. They're old school these days. I mean, I don't know anyone using them. I've moved over to CC Vault and NAMI. Why? Because Daedalus and Yoroi can't even interact with a smart contract. So what's the freaking point? Like, how is it that... I don't know if IOG have kind of stepped to the side and been like, yeah, we'll let the community start taking over that development. But then Emergo come along and say, oh, we're trying to scale Yoroi. Are you? Because you seem to be doing a crap job, considering no one's using it anymore. We've all had to move away if we want to actually interact with the latest and greatest, like, fun, tinkering things on the blockchain.
Well, who cares what Emergo is saying anyway?
Well,
I've never cared about anything they've done or said, short of releasing the first version of Yoroi.
Well, they're founding members. They're supposed to be doing something.
Okay, great.
Who knows?
So they gave some money couple of years ago that helped the people that build stuff. That's cool, but I don't know why we would give a shit what they're saying today.
Yeah, well, this is my point. I think Yoroi's dead as a product. I think it's dying, at least. And from what they said, either they don't care enough to invest more in servers, or they don't want to, because I feel like it's not a big deal to, I don't know, scale an application like that.
No, it's dead and gone, right? We're at the point now where community developed solutions are way better. So
way better.
Why would they want to develop anything anyway? They would be catching up to community developed products. Why? It's not like wallets are a great source of revenue. If they want to do it because they want to help the community or whatever, cool, then spend that money elsewhere. Just inject them straight into Catalyst where people actually try to do something. Yeah, no, I mean, not trying to take away from Emergo's initial credit. I don't know exactly what the hell they've ever done, but they have been there from very early on. So
they're one of the three founding companies.
Exactly.
But
no, exactly.
You're right. You're spot on. They've not done anything. So they were on 360 talking about what their planning to do, and it's just launching a whole lot of entrepreneurial plans, benefits, opportunities for people in Africa, which is great. I like that, but realistically doesn't have a lot to do with Cardano.
Even that, I would say, why?
Yeah.
If that's the outcome that they want to get out of that, again, why not just put their efforts, their weight, or whatever behind Catalyst, where the community itself is formulating the things that is needed and know what needs to be done or whatever, and they can just, you know, be a steroid booster to any of those plans. Like, why? It sounds like that only makes sense from a PR point of view.
Yep. I can't answer the question is the answer. It's the provided wallets by Cardano, by IOG and Emergo, Daedalus and Yoroi, as far as I can tell, they're just eclipsed now. And I think that's kind of the end of them. I don't think that people will continue using them. People are still using them for the same reason that people are still using Windows 7, because it came on the computer that they bought. You know, that's the only reason people are still using them. After people experience the better wallets out there, I think they'll just get phased out. So, yeah, bit of a shame, but oh well, who cares? It's just a wallet.
So is it? So Yoroi, man, I don't care. But Daedalus, so benefits of running Daedalus is that you're running a full node, which has limited value because it's a proof of stake network, but it has some value. So has there been, has any subject matter experts done any attempt of like quantifying how good or how bad
love
would it be
to see
not have
that.
people on it?
I would love to see a subject matter expert discuss the benefits of Daedalus, because I'm going to come right out and say I reckon there's next to zero. The reason I think that is because Daedalus is just verifying intaken blocks. So it's getting blocks from the network and it's going, yeah, that looks valid to me. That follows and meets the criteria for a valid block. But realistically, no one's connecting to that Daedalus wallet because no one can, because it's behind NAT and it's just an outbound connection only. No one's getting the IP address of that wallet because we don't have the Whisper protocol enabled yet. So there's no true peer-to-peer within the network. So
that's a good point.
No one else other than your own Daedalus wallet can benefit from Daedalus nodes being run. I would love to know what the benefit is other than, yeah, you're not going to go and download a dodgy copy of the blockchain. But realistically, that's minimal. I would say that's a minimal benefit at best. So, yeah, would love to hear what someone with
only
some
argument I can think of to Steelman would be that the security of you knowing that you have the right reflection of the blockchain. But I'm finding it hard to make that argument with a straight face because our Web 2 net security is so good now that it's not really an issue. I don't really have to worry if I'm using NAMI or CZ Vault and whether or not they are actually using the copy of the blockchain that I want them to be using.
Yeah.
Or being worried about a man in the middle or anything like that. So, yeah, no, I can't think of any reason either. But I mean, ever since half a year ago when they were showing their work on the Light wallet, which is still nowhere to be seen, I kind of knew that, okay, so Daedalus just, you're just leaving that behind the shed, aren't you? Which again also then begs the question of, that's fine. And then it still begs the question of why are you why are you spending the precious time of your team, of the IoT engineers here, to develop a Light wallet? yeah, as a consumer, I want a better wallet experience. The Daedalus has been giving me. There are several teams working on giving that to me already. Why is this a priority for IOG?
Yep. The question's out there. I have no answers for you.
I have one potential answer. The only one I can think of with any sort of gravitas, which is Voltaire is still under development. A lot of the things are still up in the air. So having a wallet developed in-house in IOG to integrate the voting experience of the voting on chain can be advantageous. I don't think it's a strong argument. I don't think that that's a particularly difficult technical integration to make if you just collaborate with any team that makes a wallet, but it is an argument I could think of for like why they might want to make their own wallet. Still the shitty fucking argument if that's the best that they have.
Yep.
I would much rather that they spend the time on Hydra, on the various aspects of Voltaire, because that's still the most dangerous thing that could take down the entire network.
Oh yeah, especially what with the multi-poolers that today, 1% is going to be running the network. The second, because it's going to be like, you know what? Don't worry. Continue delegating to 1%. We're reducing our fees. You've just got to allow us to have your voting delegation as well. And all the people who have gone, oh, I want to make the most money possible. I'll delegate to 1%. When they hear I'm going to get more rewards, day zero, man. Day zero. None of those people.
Well, you're speculating.
Yeah, no, I'm predicting the future at this point. I see it vividly. 1%.
I see that.
Just takes all the delegated vote and then runs the network. Then we'll, I don't know, maybe Binance or whoever's running the pools, maybe the exchanges will start running it. So John, the guy from IOG who started this all off, or kicked us off on 360 this month, he had a lot of interesting things to say, but he mentioned all these various projects like you just did and how they're all being worked on in parallel. And it got me to thinking, do we need some way of IOG communicating? Because IOG has been paid by Cardano. They were paid in ADA tokens, the Cardano network's token. Do we need some way of getting feedback from IOG as a company? Because they are a contractor to the network. And for them to report how much progress they've made and what they are actually working on. Because supposedly it's all in parallel. I don't believe that. I'd love to know what they're actually working on, what made progress, what's blocked due to whatever reasons. I feel like the community's owed some sort of information because they've been paid by us, in theory. What do you reckon?
That's a difficult question because on the surface I would agree, but let's try to unpack what the situation really is. You go to the before times. So the Big Bang, the conception of Cardano, is some people with a plan and the papers and the formulas and everything, and knowing that the cap is 45 billion. And when it's instantiated, a small percentage of that is paid to IOG with the plan of them developing over a certain amount of years. So like that is their initial payment. Now, in that sense, they are subservient to Cardano. But at that very snap second, Cardano is either nothing or only them, pretty much. By now, a lot of people could be said to be Cardano, stake pool, validators, shitcoin, meme jesters, growing the culture, and all of these various things could be said to be Cardano. And IOG, in one sense, is subservient to them, but they're also still shaping the network and were paid by a network that wasn't the people that are there now. That's not an easy question.
It's not, but it is maybe how it should be thought of. And at the end of the day, they were prepared to accept payment for developing the network in ADA. If you told them you were going to pay them in pounds sterling, you'd expect these reports. Are you telling me that ADA's not as good as fiat and you only get reports and feedback from your contracted companies when they pay in fiat? Or because they took a gamble, they're too good for it? I don't know.
Now, here's how I would think of it. So essentially, you'd think of the ADA as stock. And so every single person that holds ADA holds stock in the thing that they're also developing on. They're accepting ADA because they believe that the network will be worth more for the work that they're going to be putting into it. So that's why they accept to get stock in the network. So from that perspective, then every single stockholder has a right to receive information about what is happening to the company that they're invested in, or in this case, the network. But so we don't have a DAO in place, really.
Nope.
We have Catalyst, which is IOG's project.
We have Voltaire in the future one day.
Yeah. So in the future we have Voltaire. I would say that what I would have liked to see would be for Cardano Foundation to actually act as what they're purported to be, which would include, in this case, the acting role of ruling steward that would be pulling on companies like IOG on behalf of the community, saying we want receipts, tell us what's going on, and communicating that to the network at large. Not just like Emergo, but kind of like with Emergo. I don't really know what Cardano Foundation is doing. I mean, I know they have a developer portal website and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which that's cool. They got an intern to set that up, but I don't know what they're really doing aside from that. Well, I suppose they are delegating the ADA around. I've been fortunate enough to have their 15 million for like 3 months, which is amazing. I was very surprised to learn that it is not automated in any sense.
Oh God, no! Have you not seen people have got it like 3 times in a row? It's gone to people who didn't fit any of their supposed criteria. Like their job of vetting is
that's not what I mean. It's just like the entire process of it. Like if you know that you're going to be doing this every 3 months, first thing I would do, like at least, okay, I'm going to make a script.
Oh yeah.
And like I'll feed it the list of the pool tickers of like that I'm going to be spitting it out to or something like that. But no, like
you know what they've done, right? You know how it really works. They've gone and got 1 terabytes worth of RAM, stuck it in a computer, and what they do is they've got Daedalus running with a bunch of different wallets and all the nodes syncing like constantly. So it's just syncing like 300 wallets, and then that way the intern can click through and they can stake and delegate using the GUI. That's how it's working, man. Guaranteed.
You're joking.
Yes, I am.
Well, you're joking, but I can't tell you that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I think the truth is somewhere in between all of that. I'm almost certain that IOG must have given them something, but you cannot convince me that the process of redelegation does not look like this.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Every 3 months.
It's worse than that. I mean, let's put it this way: when IOG launched Alonzo Blue, the first testnet, the Cardano Foundation were not invited to the party. I was there. but the Cardano Foundation wasn't. That says a lot.
Yeah.
They came in at white. Why? Because they don't have the technical skill. They rely on IOG for the technical side. The Cardano Foundation is a pseudo government thing of Cardano, and they don't have those skill sets that you're talking about. At least not now.
Yeah, they're created to be the foundation for the network. They're supposed to be our
government, our something.
Yeah, well,
patriarch.
It's more like a stewardship, but yeah, effectively something centralized that can have representative communications with governments and companies, and like that's virtually speaking impossible for us to do with a DAO. Like given, so you really do want to have something like the Cardano Foundation, and
no, I agree.
Blockchains that I know of have that, but yeah, no, you're pointing out something interesting and important, which is that they don't seem to have amassed the merits that are needed to really fill that role.
Yeah.
If they have to use IOG as a prosthetic to solve certain things, then that just means that IOG is really still in the driver's seat. Which
exactly,
okay, that's fine, but then why is Cardano Foundation a thing?
Exactly. The Cardano Foundation has failed. I would love, and I will be reaching out this year to the Cardano Foundation. I'm going to ask someone to come on and have a chat with me. And if the Cardano Foundation happens to have an employee listening, I'm going to give you a hint. The one thing that I'm going to ask for is KPIs. Like, I'm going to ask for, what are your KPIs? How do I, as a member of Cardano, know that you're good enough at doing your job that you shouldn't be fired? And if not, how do I get you fired? And two, what have you achieved this year? I.e., can you answer whether you should be fired or not? Because it's been years now. They've been around, and what have they done? I don't know. They've certainly achieved less than I'd hope. You know, that I heard last year they were going to get 6 or 12 banks using Cardano. That didn't happen. Maybe that's for this year, though.
Best case scenario, I think we've spoken about this before, is that they are having conversations with governments and large companies, which for very understandable reasons are all behind very massive oak wood doors.
Absolutely.
All up until the second that something actually happens. And as we know, in broad development, and certainly our current constipation of the congestion on the network shows that we're not in the place right now where we're just going to be shoving in Walmart or Ethiopia or anything like that onto the blockchain. So I suppose giving the full benefit of the doubt, I would speculate that, okay, Cardano Foundation have been spending all of this time lobbying behind closed doors for Cardano, and they'll continue to do that.
And I think that's correct. Yeah, what you've said is right.
Problem here, though, I think still is, I'm guessing. Why do I have to guess?
Yeah.
Around this, even if you can't tell me any details of whom you're talking with or about what exactly. Don't tell me that you couldn't go out and say, we, Cardano Foundation, we are speaking with companies, we're speaking with governmental bodies, drawing up plans. These are big plans. I don't know why they sound like Trump all of a sudden.
The best plans.
And
the biggest.
And they're gonna take a long time. Some of them are gonna fall through. And that's okay, because maybe the timing or the match isn't really good, but we believe that some of them are going to find that it's a good fit, and we're going to help them integrate with Cardano and get on, which when that happens, anybody would know, whether it's a company or a country is going to mean an insane immigration of data or users relative to what we have today. Just say something like that, if that's what they're doing. But if they're not saying anything...
I mean, I agree with you. I the way I'd do it, or the way I'd propose to do it, is you say, look, we've got small, meaning a deal that's going to result in anywhere up to 100,000 people, or let's say 10,000 people being involved. A medium-sized deal, up to 100,000. And a large, 1 million plus. And then just say, we have discussions ongoing at the moment with 3 different entities, 2 of which are small and 1 is a large. Then we've got some real metrics like, okay, cool. So they're achieving something. They're managing to get in the door. For all we know, Frederick is literally cold calling his old employers and like the tellers at HSBC saying, hey, have you heard about Cardano? Because for all I know, that could be literally what he's doing right now. And I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that. I'd just like some more feedback. So whilst we're shitting on the Cardano Foundation, which is actually possibly my favorite thing to do in the whole of the Cardano ecosystem these days, let's talk about the SIP process. Are you familiar with the process? Or would you like me to walk you through it? Cardano improvement proposals.
Oh, SIP. CIP.
Yeah, sorry, CIP. Not SIP the phone protocol. No. So the Cardano improvement proposal process is driven supposedly, and I say supposedly because by the Cardano Foundation. And I say this because they have a GitHub, which is where all the SIPs get proposed. They're proposed via a pull request, and then they get merged in once they've reached an active state within the process, and once people are basically happy with the proposal, that it is a good, valuable proposal that could benefit the network. The thing is, the whole process is very clearly laid out with duties given to editors, with how you should propose something, what a proposal should contain. It's all really beautifully well done. But let me tell you, there is nothing out there as to what happens after a merge request, or after that pull request is merged in. Basically, from what I can tell, it goes to IOG, someone goes to Charles and says, hey Charles, there's a new SIP. Someone suggested this. And that's the end of it. Nothing ever happens after that. Because unless you're IOG and you're the one proposing the SIP, they've not been implemented. I've started reaching out to the SIP proposers of the past, people who don't work for IOG, and I've asked, do you have any feedback as to where this SIP is? Like, it was merged in, so I kind of take the merge request being accepted to state that, you know, maybe it's going to be implemented. Maybe it's just waiting for implementation now. No, apparently a SIP proposal being merged is actually meaningless. It's literally just there for appearance's sake to say, oh yeah, we've got what Bitcoin and what Ethereum have got. We've got SIPs, Cardano improvement proposals. Same thing as BIPs and EIPs and God knows what else. And nothing happens with them. It's a farce. It's the Cardano Foundation likes regularly, and at the end of last year they pointed out, hey guys, we run the SIP proposals. What do? There's a web page that they've got about the SIPs. It's out of date massively. These things progress over a course of months, and their website is out of date massively. But
you can't expect them to keep all of those things up to date. It's not like they have billions of dollars worth of assets lying around.
You're right, and and there are so many SIPs. I think there are almost 40 of them now in the last 2 or 3 years that the SIP process has been running. And they don't have much more than a few $1 billion. So managing those 40 things, which is basically the only thing that they're doing right now other than cold calling HSBC. You're right. They probably don't have the manpower or the resources or the time or the energy. And they probably don't give a shit either. But that's just my take. So, yeah. Hot take. I love to shit on Cardano Foundation because I honestly don't know what the fuck they're doing. And hopefully that changes this year.
Yeah, I really want them to be more transparent about what they're trying to accomplish. And not just to give them more shit when they don't do that, but to be able to step in and help with the things that I or someone else in the community can actually do. Because right now it's all a black box.
Absolutely. I mean, they've actually had a job open for CTO for the last, I think it's been a good few months.
That's fine. You don't really need to have a technical officer.
Yeah, well, that's my question.
Like blockchain.
What do they need a CTO for? Like, what do they do? Because if we understood what they did, we might understand. Maybe they need a CTO.
They need a CTO for what I'm sure they're using IOG for at the moment.
Probably yes.
Why they haven't been, hurrying to fill that rollout. Exactly.
I wouldn't doubt that in the slightest. And they need the right person. But that person, I don't know what they're applying for. I don't think the person who applies to be CTO of Cardano Foundation knows what they're applying for, because I don't think the role exists presently. And this Cardano Foundation have next to nothing to do with anything technical, as we understand it today. They're supposed to be going out there, making contracts, deals, proposing Cardano as a solution for problems. But I don't know what for. And I don't know what solutions they've proposed. And I don't know whether they've been successful at all. And they need to, I don't know, just be a bit more transparent. Maybe someone will actually want the job then. But I'm not applying. Not this year.
Not this year.
So yeah, I want more from the Cardano Foundation. I really do, because it's fun to sit here and badmouth anyone. It's not the nicest thing to do. If I was in the Cardano Foundation's role, I'd feel bad. I don't like it when people talk negatively about other people. But as an organization, with the sheer amount of resource that they've got, I feel like they should be doing a better job at communicating, because I don't think it takes that much.
Yeah, well, resources should make it easier. I actually don't care that much about the resources in this argument. I care more about the fact that they're in the way. So
how so?
Because they're the ones that are supposed to be running the CIP process, right?
Supposedly.
So if they were not an obstacle, then it's like, fine, be useless, or like do whatever you want. That's fine. That's your time. Which is also like why I don't really care about Emerkle and like what they're not doing or whatever today. It's like, okay, they were around, they probably did something, maybe they didn't. I don't really care. If they're not getting in the way, I don't care. That's the biggest issue that I have with Cardano Foundation. Whether it's true or not, that certainly is the optics, because you can't make any decentralized changes to network without going through them, and they don't seem like they're doing their job. So shit, I get off the pot.
Couldn't agree more. Do you have anything else you'd like to touch on from this month's 360, or might call it an early one this week, this month even? I've unfortunately been incredibly busy all month, and it will only get worse into February.
I have something interesting to talk about.
Let's go for it. Come on.
But before I dive into that, I want to tie a bow on the congestion things we were speaking of earlier. Have you been snaking any blocks in your pool?
No, I think I know what you mean. Define snaking.
So with the current congestion issues,
I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Should we be discussing this live? I know we don't have the biggest viewership, but genuinely there has been a lot of talk about a lot of negative, scary things that SPOs have been doing. And I'm worried that you're going to...
I'm not talking about anything particularly malicious. I'm talking about, well, super simply put, pools that are under-resourced or just really fucking poorly managed, or both, basically dropping the ball on minting blocks on time. And if you're running a tight ship with your pool operation, you might actually find yourself being able to validate that block and getting the rewards on the network that they have chosen to miss out on entirely due to their ineptitude.
So I haven't. So the way the protocol works is you never actually steal someone else's block, but you may well mint a block and their block therefore never gets added if they don't do it in time. I've actually been seeing a lot of SPOs complaining of the opposite, which is dreadful, which is that blocks are getting propagated out to the network as much as, and I've seen this, 70 seconds later than the most recent block produced. And that chain is being adopted rather than the one that is just on time in terms of slot number.
Why would that be adopted?
Fuck knows, but it's happening. And no one can really explain it from what I've seen. And I talked to a lot of what I consider to be some of the smartest SPOs out there. People are losing block battles to basically people who are producing their blocks late, and yet they're losing because the other chain is getting adopted. It's really nasty. It's really nasty. So it's another thing to look out for. But no, go on. Tell me about what you've been seeing. I gather it's the opposite, where people have been producing blocks late and you've been getting in there early enough that they're kicked out.
Yeah, so I haven't been lucky enough to get into that either at this point, but I was hoping to maybe get a silver lining out of the congestion from that, because I know my pools is just top dollar, running tip top, and this is one of the issues that I've been foreseeing happening for well over a year. I've been seeing this coming, because you still have people literally running their operation on like Raspberry Pis.
Yep.
And no, it would definitely be it would be cool to catch any of those if there are people that can't do it. Also, because it won't affect your assignment probability going forward. So if you end up getting any of those blocks, it's not going to reduce the chance that you get blocks subsequent epochs. But yeah, no, I was just curious, because I have seen like some pools have caught a lot of these, which is just down to luck again, I guess.
Cool. Makes sense. Yeah. So that's on congestion. What was your? Did you have anything you wanted to speak on aside from that?
I do, but I think I'm going to be saving this to next month. Actually, it's not very pressing right now. So,
all right, cool.
I'll keep that as a cliffhanger.
Well, it's been a pleasure, everyone. If you'd like to support us, delegate to Nanny Pool or NASEC if you'd like to support myself. And we will wish you a good one. Have a nice evening, everyone.
See ya.
And end.